Do you know that when Rihanna announced her pregnancy, Drake blocked her on all social media, or at least unfollowed, I think.
I don't think anybody cares about that right now, man. Can we just talk about what's actually very important in the space right now?
What
Everybody
is that?
is
What
asking
could
the
be more
same
important?
question. The world is falling. It feels like Judgment Day. Charts don't look good. But if Doomsday had a chart in one way, shape, or form, it would look like a lot of what's happening in crypto today, man. So,
Is
what do you
that the
think about what's
case?
happening? I really think so.
Look, man, I guess we can kind of talk about maybe what's happening in the market today. Look, I think we should probably talk about what's going on with Hex because look, man, it's been long overdue. We like the fundamental use case of Hex, but frankly speaking, the chart looks very concerning on multiple fronts. So let's talk about the chart. Let's talk about some of the recent drama going on with Hex and
There's a lot of
Hedron and some of the
drama
recent comments.
happening, man. There's a lot
Yeah,
of drama.
and I think it's worth commenting just because there's a lot of FUD and misinformation out there. So, for the
Definitely,
sake of clarity, I think it's worth commenting on.
definitely,
Um,
definitely.
but maybe to start things off, we should talk about what's going on with the price action here.
Let's do it.
So, folks, look, right now we are looking at a 3-day chart of the entire price history of Hex here. All right. And we're starting to see some very concerning things with Hex. We're starting to see Hex not respect historically relevant, important trend lines here. Where if we draw a trend line from this wick to these wicks here and just extend that, we can see how we actually, again, the market confirmed this was a relevant trend line, but we broke down below it. Now, this is a secondary relevant trend line that's existed throughout the vast majority of Hex's price action. Based off these peaks, extend that. We actually, again, the market confirmed this trend line as still being relevant because we had 1 or 2 days of consolidation on this trend line, but now we've broken below it. So what we're seeing is several signs of weakness here. And if we can maybe take the log chart off for a moment, we can perhaps get a better sense of what's truly relevant here. And if you feel free to hop in at any moment you want here, man. But in my opinion, I think it's frankly very clear that the battle line has been drawn. The line in the sand is very clear. It's 12 cents. 12 cents was historically a floor where buyers came in and held the line. And the market is again saying this is a relevant level of support where buyers stepped in. And if we should lose 12 cents here, well, in my opinion, then things could start to look a little bit like 2018 Bitcoin, where you see this blue line here. This is a fractal of Bitcoin's 2018 price action, which very ironically is looking similar to what we're seeing here with Hex, where we kind of form a descending triangle where our base of support is around 12 cents. If we keep testing this, eventually we could break down, have a capitulation wick or candle all the way down to the maybe 6 or 5 cent region. What do you think,
Right.
Ben?
No, I think that's the log chart was always showing us where the majority of the exactly where the majority of the trading volume have been. If we actually zoom out, look, if you're worried about the price, that's rightfully so. I mean, the fib, we're literally sitting at, we broke the main line that we usually use for support on all the log charts. That's what everyone looks at. That's where everybody or the majority of the market for Hex would actually use as a buy zone. That trend line, the one on the bottom that Brendan has on the screen, that's what we usually use to see if buyers coming or not. So that broke, and we actually went back down outside of it, came back up to retest it, and now we're actually it looks like we're free falling. It's pretty clear the
Yeah.
12 cent is where that floor is. It's pretty clear that if we lose that, we're looking at somewhere sub 10 cents, maybe all the way down to the 6 cent region for Hex. Looks like we had a lot of marketing. Things were blowing up a lot. We can tell that the sentiment in the market right now is a little iffy. Usually, in the general scheme of things, when things are that bearish, that's when the price actually starts to go back up. However, I don't know if this is the case we're having right now with Hex. I think only time will tell. But yeah, definitely the price is looking a little shaky, and the support we have is a 12 to 11 cent region. If that doesn't hold, we're looking maybe something closer to the 5 to 6 cent, right?
Yeah, I would say if 12 cents doesn't hold, then 6 cents. Then yeah, we arguably have support around 9.5. But if we lose 12 cents, it's going to look quite bearish. And I think 6, 7 cents, it becomes very realistic. Should we spend time below 12 cents? And I'd also want to add, Ben, look, there's large parts of the Hex community that say technical analysis is rather useless when it comes to analyzing Hex. And I really want to rebut that talking point and that narrative that a lot of people in the HEX community like to say when talking about technical analysis with HEX, because they like to say that HEX is mostly fundamentally driven, and that's completely true. And over the long term, the fundamentals that cause HEX to do a 10,000x are likely the fundamentals that will cause it to reach price discovery and do very well over the long term. But people do care about the short term. People do care about optimizing and timing the short term. And there are speculators in the market. Therefore, it is important to understand patterns, trend lines, breakouts, breakdowns, all this kind of stuff, because people do care about optimizing the short term. Technical analysis is important for understanding what could happen in the short term, or at least what's likely. And because there are speculators in the market, it is relevant to understand technical analysis. So I just want to combat a little bit of a talking point out there with HEX. I feel like a lot of people are throwing kind of the baby out with the bathwater, where I would agree that, the fundamentals are the bread and butter with HEX. But when talking about optimizing for the short term and understanding the short term, technical analysis is key.
100%. Technical analysis doesn't mean that that you have day traders when we start talking about the chart. It doesn't mean that we're trying to day trade this, but no, when things are down, if I can enter this at a 60% better price than everyone else, then yeah, if I want to scoop up after like an 80% drop, like I'm doing better for myself. It doesn't mean that you're day trading this. It just means that along the way, fundamentals are the it's like a train, and the gas taking us to whatever we want. But along the way, there's a couple stations we gotta stop at, man. There's a couple stops. We're gonna lag for a bit. We're gonna slow down. We're gonna have to calibrate or whatever the price wants to do along the way. So it's pretty important. Look, man, that's what I noticed. People that don't really understand technical analysis get scared from it.
Talk the most shit about technical analysis.
And they talk the most shit about it. No, it's pretty clear sometimes when there's a market reversal. For example, if we zoom in for a bit right now, maybe give a bit of, I guess, hopium, but we always try to avoid that. It's pretty clear, for example, now that this is, the first time we dropped to that point, we had a quick market reaction, not a lot of, wicks at the bottom is not that much. However, recently, if you can hover on the most recent hammer candle, pretty nice wick to the bottom. Buyers came in at the support and pushed the price action above the opening price of that candle. We're looking at the 3-day. Perfect. Can we check? Maybe we'll check out the daily chart in a second here. But we're just trying to see the reaction along. We're definitely spending a lot more time right now at this price level, where before when we dropped, we kind of really just zoomed in and right away, boom, start to go up. Now there's a bit of a struggle. We're seeing, check out HEX Whalebot. We're seeing a lot of people prematurely ending stake. That's also adding to the fact. But what I noticed, man, in the community, that people care too much about the drama happening, and that also affects the price. And I think that's something we got to touch upon, man.
Yeah. So look, man, sentiment is a real thing. Sentiment does affect markets. Like, people like to tout how HEX is largely decorrelated from the rest of the market because its liquidity is mostly in stablecoins. And while that is true, sentiment still affects HEX. Just how Bitcoin and Ethereum sentiment can affect the greater market in HEX. The HEX sentiment can also affect price action as well. And we are seeing a lot of traditional staples in the HEX community. Having to deal with a lot of drama, a lot of FUD, a lot of back and forth, a lot of personal talk, which I think could also be playing a part in kind of more of a negative sentiment about HEX right now. When price is down, people like to get emotional. And so, definitely. I mean, one example of this is the fact that, a very popular HEX channel that I know that I personally listen to, I've listened to in the past in regards to trying to get a better sense of what HEX is all about, is Quant Gang. Quant Gang used to have Whales Only. We've had Whales Only on the channel, super knowledgeable guy about HEX. They had Kareem the Dream and Matty Olin. They did a show about HEX, and because of a lot of the drama that's been going on, Whales left, and now it seems like Kareem is leaving as well due to Matty. I think this is largely due to Matty going kind of wilding out with his fight about Hedron, although there could be more that I'm missing. I feel like it's more than just the Hedron talk as well. But like, my point is, and I think why we bring this up is because this is kind of like a marker of what's going on with kind of the whole of the HEX community right now, where a lot of people, because price is down, people are kind of at each other's throats. And I think this is kind of like a like a temperature check of like what's 100%. Going on.
100%. Look, man, the smart contract doesn't care about the drama. That's what
Yeah.
it is, and that's what people need to understand. We build, nice communities build around this whole thing. That's nice to see, but again, when you build a community, there's a lot that comes with that. And I think the whole community kind of started to, like maybe stop paying attention to what the fundamentals are, what we're looking at. I really think we should be looking more at how the blockchain can improve, not how we're trying to make things look like. And that's like, we don't want to really comment too much on this. I guess there's a lot, just too much drama and personal things happening. We wish them all the best. No disrespect to anybody. We're here, just talking about crypto, strictly crypto, and the people behind are obviously driving whatever they're driving. But again, at the end of the day, this is crypto. It's a blockchain. It's not. That doesn't have to do anything with your feelings. Doesn't have to do anything with your own personal, I guess, agenda or whatever you're trying to, whatever your outlook is on the future of it. Right? It's a smart contract. It's a code. Period. Again, man, best of luck for these guys. But you got to stay objective in this space, and you got to look at the smart contract and the smart contract only, and that's it. That's what you actually put your money in. You don't put your money in the community, basically.
Right. And, we bring up the Matty Allen stuff specifically because Matty is, again, a very influential person within the Hex community. He's been spreading, frankly, quite a lot of FUD about Hedron, where he's saying, any project that creates any ability to withdraw value from Hex stake early detracts from what Hex is all about and is kind of like a malicious attack on Hex. And so Matty, as of recent, was saying some frankly crazy things, suggesting that the Hex origin address would emergency unstake people, would maybe fork people out of Pulse chain. No indication that would happen. Hex origin address cannot emergency unstake you. So because that was put out there, it's important to address, because people hear that, they might be unwilling to participate in Hedron, unwilling to use Hedron, unwilling to mint Hedron. And I think that's wrong, because there's frankly no indication that the Hex origin address would retaliate against Hedron minters
Right.
because you choose to extract some free value.
Right.
And in fact, what we have seen is that since the launch of Hedron, we saw actually an uptake in new Hex stakes, new 555 stakes, which is interesting to see.
100%. Maybe it would be nice at one point. So maybe we'll have a follow-up videos, something to see if those are actually wrapped, or it's like a wrapped stake as an NFT or no, to see what's the percentage of that.
I'm so glad you brought that up, because I was literally about to say the next thing. Motley Investor, another great Hex influencer, said, curious to see how much are actually Hex stake instances, which are basically Hex stakes through Hedron. And then Hedron replied by saying 901 Hex stakes, Hex stake instances have been made, waiting on some stats sites to get made. So we're going to get more accurate numbers moving forward. But whether these numbers here are exactly accurate or not, we do have what's it called here? Like a personal anecdote where you are, I believe, speak for yourself here, but planning on opening up a Hex stake now with Hedron, due to Hedron, that you wouldn't have otherwise, because one of your biggest things was is dealing
Penalties.
with being locked up for that long, and the penalties associated with it.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like, look, man, I believe in everybody got their own risk tolerance. There's not a lot going on right now. In my opinion, that I would have to lock up all of this for the next, especially if I'm looking, let's say if the price is gonna, Pulse chain's coming up and a bunch of stuff and all that. I just want to kind of stay on the side for a bit, for a year or so, before I do my Hex stake. Why? Because I'm like, I might need the money for something else, 100%. So that's what it is. I want to put my money in, but I can't. If I put it for 5 years or whatever the case might be, in 2 years I can't really. If I pull it out 2 years before, I can't. It's gonna start eating through my capital. Man, look, whoever's willing to do that, by all means, you're gonna get rewarded for it. To me, I like more flexibility with my investments, because I think crypto is more dynamic. So I want to move my money the way I want to move my money the whole time. Am I a pleb? Whatever the case might be, you name it, pleb. I don't care. But I saw, Hedron now. Oh, it looks like I can move around things if I need be.
Right.
So I like that. There's a whole economy there that I'm excited about. And that's how I see it. Yeah. So you're right. We've been talking about Hex for a while. I never really had a stake. Now I got we're probably gonna do it on video at one point, but I will have a stake, wrapped stake with Hedron, and sue me. Sue me.
Yeah, folks, look, like and subscribe, hit that bell icon to be notified of new uploads, because it would be great if we could do like a walkthrough step by step of
Yeah.
how to do a hex stake using Hedron. So look forward to that video. And look, man, I think your case speaks to kind of the greater potential out there with Hedron, where there's a lot of people who probably haven't participated in Hex because, frankly, not everyone is willing to lock up funds for 15 years.
Yeah.
But now, given this new kind of more flexible option, it opens the door for people to open up Hex stakes who wouldn't have otherwise if it weren't for Hedron, which is, part of the game theory as to why Hedron builds and adds to Hex instead of detracting from it. Because,
Definitely.
with a Hedron token, arguably, if someone could choose to buy Hex or Hedron, maybe they could choose to buy Hedron, therefore, it dilutes buy pressure. But if you're not getting a bunch more people opening up stakes who wouldn't have otherwise if it weren't for Hedron, then perhaps, the benefits outweigh the potential negatives of what Hedron's all about.
And look, man, that the market will tell, guys. The market will tell. Whatever you got, theories are only theories. Whatever thesis we got is only thesis. Until the market decides whatever the hell the market wants to decide. Never assume. Never trust, always verify, and only look at the smart contract. Doesn't matter what's happening with all these influencers. If you like the project, go read the white paper, go check the code, go check the audits. That's all you got to do. Don't listen to us to begin with. I mean, maybe I should.
Yeah, we got to know what we're talking about.
But again, man, it's crypto. Crypto's decentralized. Doesn't care about your feelings.
Yeah. Maybe we should wrap up by listening to a clip of Richard talking about what he thinks about encapsulated hex stakes.
Some of these things don't have clear answers. So part of me is of the belief that Hex works amazing as it is, and that adding extra layers of encapsulation may make it more liquid and then increase the velocity, which then reduces the price. So, but if it's not rehypothecated in a way where it's derivative, if it's actually spot, in order for you to sell this much shares of the real stake, you need to have purchased the real stake, then I'm pretty sure it works out. So my current thinking on it is that the encapsulations are a good deal, particularly in a high fee environment. And then if it turns out to suck, you can always just de-emphasize them. Like, oh, okay, we checked it out. It sucked. Okay, well, we're not going to talk about it anymore. So it's worth trying.
But look, man, I think Richard Hart brought up some very interesting points there. And some that I took away, which was, he said that we ultimately need to see what the market decides. There's some opinions in game theory to say that, hey, these hex stakes might detract from what hex is about. And there's some opinions and there's some game theories that say, this adds to what hex is. But ultimately, we don't know for sure. This is an experiment. We need to see what the market truly decides. And so that's my opinion with what's going on with Hedron. It seems so far like, more people are opening up hex stakes who wouldn't have otherwise if it weren't for Hedron. But let's see how this thing grows. Let's see how this thing develops. The market will ultimately decide. We can all debate opinions, all the live long day, but the market will in fact tell us if this thing adds to hex or if it detracts at the end of the day.
100%, man. Like you said, so that's what I'm saying. Like, he's a very smart guy because he knows it's all an experiment, right? He knows that there's no clear answers. He said that's how he opened the whole statement when it came to Hedron. So, it's pretty clear what he's trying to say. He's not trying to deter any developers away. And not only that, man. If majority of the market wants to trade and they're all plebs, let them, and everyone else gets the fees. I don't get what the problem is. Right? Like, let them come in and let get all the stakes. I don't know why the hate. I think the hate is gonna, eliminate people out of the market. It's gonna reduce, buy pressure, in my opinion, man.
I completely disagree. I think we should react to to any new idea with hate and violence, skepticism, and fear. Frankly, that's what I propose. Any new ideas?
I heard that's the way of the greats. That's how Rome was built. I heard.
Right. If anybody has a new idea, we react with fear and violence.
100%. You guys guessed it, man. Thank you guys for watching. Appreciate
subscribe.
you. Love you guys for all the support. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Do whatever you got to do, man. Look at this guy. He looks so dehydrated. We're trying to make a fun for Brendan.
What are you
trying
saying?
to get him
I just drank a whole glass of water.
How do you guys see his glass is always empty?
Yeah, because I'm drinking so much water. I have empty glasses of water all around me. Look at this thing. Just,
Yeah,
just water is
empty
gone.
glasses
You
of
can't,
water.
bro. You can't leave water around because I drink it all.
You guys saw it live. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great day.
Like and subscribe. Hey man, look, I'm just calling to apologize here because look, I saw our most recent video, and I saw what people were saying in the comments, and frankly, it's true. Like I think, like I don't want my good looks to detract from like the video and its content. Like if you just compare and contrast me and you, like like I'm showing up fresh, right? Like I'm showing up to par. And I just think there's a bit of a dichotomy there, a bit of a contrast that people are noticing. And I'm just calling you to like debate, like how do we address this moving forward, right? Like I don't want my good looks like detracting from the content. You know what I mean?
What did they say? I wasn't really paying attention.
Well, it's just the same old, right? It's the same stuff I've been hearing all my life. Like, he's so good looking. He's so fresh. He's so intelligent. How could he put up with someone like Messin? And like I don't want you seeing any of this, right? I don't want you feeling this. So I'm just calling you to see if we can brainstorm ideas as to like how we can like deal with this moving forward. Like I don't know how to make myself like look worse, right? Like it's so difficult. Like
That's true.
in
That's like with you being like 350 pounds. Like imagine.
Hey man, fat. Are you fat phobic? Fat has nothing to do. Beauty is what's on the inside.
You went on a tangent for 10 minutes. Here, man. I gotta throw in something. I don't know. I gotta like has to happen.
Oh, that's very fat phobic of you.